It's championship chasing season, and you're listening to the NBA and WNBA Finals Talk, sponsored by Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who go the extra mile. I'm Anna Buonomo here with my NBA expert Kylicia Smith and WNBA guru Liz Flynn. So before we get into the WNBA, Las Vegas Aces and Seattle Storm Game 3 matchup, let's talk NBA. Going into this game, everyone expected this series to be over, especially with Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic out with injuries. But Butler took his game higher than it has ever been. He had a 40-point triple-double. And for those of you who don't know what that means, Butler reached double digits in points, rebounds, and assists. He's only the third player in NBA history to do that since LeBron James and Jerry West. So, Kylicia, obviously Butler shined last night, but what else did the Heat do that helped them win Game 3?
Butler did do his thing last night.
Butler says, give me the ball. Butler the drive, the runner, he banks it in. Oh, what a masterpiece from Jimmy Butler.
40 points, 11 rebounds, 13 assists. Perfect. It's Butler. That's kind of what we're expecting. But it's not just Butler on that court. It's a team sport. So I'm so glad that, the bench stepped up, the other starters stepped up, like Tyler Hero, 17 points, Kelly Olynyk, 17 points as well from the bench. That's what basketball is all about. It's a team sport. It's not just on one person. It's about the whole entire team. And I'm glad they did that last night. But it wasn't just that. It was the fact that the Heat came out from the start aggressive on both ends of the court, offensively and defensively, which they had lacked, ever since they lost Bam and Dragic. So that is why they gained the victory that they did.
Absolutely, and I really think that Butler's young teammates were feeding off of his energy as he was killing it. They wanted to match that, and it really ended up working out well for the Heat. Now, for the Lakers, they had 19 turnovers. Anthony Davis was not making much noise, but Davis also had some foul troubles, which affected the Lakers' flow. But LeBron said,
we're not concerned. We know we can play a lot better. We have another opportunity to take a commanding lead on Tuesday. So
LeBron, he might not be concerned, but he walked off the court with 15 seconds left in the game. A reporter in the press conference post-game said, what was it, the cause of that? Was it frustration? Was it because he thought the game was over? And he said, both. I don't really care if it's either of those reasons. I think that was a bad look. Kylicia, what do you think about that?
Listen, it's LeBron James. We all know he's the biggest sore loser that there is out there. We all know this is not a shocker. He hates losing and always acts like an 11-year-old that doesn't get his way when he does lose. So I definitely wasn't surprised when he walked off. And the fact that he said he doesn't care at the press conference is not a shocker. I'm pretty sure he doesn't, because he's on this high pedestal and can't nobody take him down from it. So with that being said, I feel like it's sad because, sometimes, and I know this is with me, this is why I'm not a fan of him. He's a great player. You can't take that away from him. But sometimes his playing gets overshadowed because his character is so bad. You just can't do that. And I feel like he needs to do better. Liz, what you think?
Here's my thing. LeBron and the Lakers clearly got outplayed that game, but that doesn't mean you walk off the court before the final buzzer even sounds. There is no way he thought that game was over. He's been in the league for 17 seasons, and this is the game where he thinks, yeah, the game definitely ended, and everyone else totally started to walk off the court already. And I do not believe that excuse for a second. All this talk about LeBron being one of the best basketball players of all time, but when he gets mad or upset, he does that, it's completely inexcusable. I don't care how good you are. He's not being a role model. He's not acting like a professional basketball player. And you don't do that to your teammates or your coaches, especially when you're in the championship series.
Period, Liz. But I feel like all both teams have to do is come out strong from the gate, being aggressive on offense and defense. They need to play smart and play with confidence. The Heat, listen, they got to continue to pick it up. Hopefully they'll have Bam back, but they need to want this just as much as the Lakers do. Because if they don't, it's going to be Lakers in 5.
So we're going to switch gears a little bit from the NBA to the WNBA. The Las Vegas Aces and the Seattle Storm finished the regular season tied for the best 18-4. So everyone was super excited going into this matchup because it's going to show which team is actually number one. But Game 1 came and went, Game 2 came and went, and the Storm dominated. They're up this series 2-0. So I guess there's two questions, Liz, that we really have to talk about here. What do the Storm need to do to sweep, and what do the Aces need to do to win a game, period?
Anna, we'll start with the Storm. The Storm have clearly dominated in this series so far, but particularly in Game 2, shooting 57% from the field. My biggest takeaway is that it's hard to lose when Sue Bird is on your team.
Bird wants it. Bird waits, takes, hits.
She missed the 2019 season after knee surgery and had limited playing time in the regular season because that same knee was acting up. Now she's back and she's better than ever. What's really special about Bird is that she doesn't score the most points, but her assist numbers are off the charts. In Game 2 on Sunday, she had 16 points and 10 assists. You wouldn't think that Bird could perform like this at 40 years old, but she is.
And Bird is killing it. I mean, 40 years old, that's crazy. But, you know, she's also had a ton of help. She's got people like Breanna Stewart, Alicia Clark, and Natasha Howard, 3 players who have scored at least 20 points in each game. And that really just shows the depth of this team.
Can't forget Stewie. Stewie with the
Exactly.
shot.
My thoughts exactly, Kylicia. And the Storm don't have to do much to sweep. They have all the pieces there. They have the depth that you both just mentioned. And if they just continue to play their game, I don't see how they can lose. So now let's switch it over to the Aces side. On Sunday, they went 5 for 5 on the free throw line, which is great, but that means you only got to the line 5 times. 4 were by Asia Wilson, and the other was by Angel McCautry. The Aces, argued that the officiating was not in their favor that game. Now, whether you agree with them or not, in situations like that, you have to find other ways to win. You can't just bow down when the officiating isn't in your favor.
Exactly, Liz. Las Vegas had 15 turnovers in Game 2, which, of course, didn't help them either.
And the Aces are also without one of their best players in the 6th Woman of the Year, Diarika Hamby, who suffered a leg injury in the semifinals, but her shoes have been filled by reserve forward Emma Cannon. Cannon had 17 points on Sunday, and that was just her 6th game appearance for Vegas, 5 of them being in the playoffs. Head coach Bill Laimbeer describes her as the physical presence that he's hoping she can help the team get a win in Game 3 and hopefully keep the series going. But if I had to make a bet on it, I have a feeling the Storm are going to be able to sweep this series.
Only time will tell how these 2 series will end, and we are so excited to see how that will play out. Be sure to tune into Game 4 of the NBA Finals tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern and Game 3 of the WNBA Finals at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for tuning into the NBA and WNBA Finals talk. For Kylicia Smith and Liz Flynn, I'm your host, Anna Buonomo.